Hey everybody, it's Libby again with Fearlessness. What is fearlessness? It's the underlying grit that empowers us to forge ahead, even when hope seems distant. It's the courage to walk through those fires of hell, knowing that we're going to come out stronger and better on the other side. Stay tuned and learn how to get fearlessness. I'm your host, Libby DeLucian, and we have a very special guest because this is actually, she said, her first time doing something like this. So Summer, introduce yourself, tell our listeners a little bit about you, what you do, who you are, all that good stuff.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Summer Abram. I am CEO of Maids Moore in Austin and in Houston. And I also run a software company called The Cleaning Software. A little bit about me is I'm from the country. I actually live on the same road my own entire family does. Family is super important to me. So is my team and coworkers. They're basically extended family. And so that's a little bit about me.
So I love that you said you live on the same road almost that your whole family lives on.
Yes, ma'am. We go up and down. I mean, I came back home about 15 years ago after, trying to find my place in the world. Well, it was always right here. So I've got aunts and uncles and cousins, and they're all right here within walking distance of me. So I really never thought that would be so important to me, but it is a huge part of my everyday.
I think we are, when we're younger, like we don't think that we should listen to our our family or our parents. And as we get older, I think that becomes more and more true. As we probably, I think, as you approach to your late 30s and into your 40s, it's like that missing thing, or it's calling out to you to kind of, because I just bought property back in Oklahoma because I'm born and raised in Oklahoma on the Texas-Oklahoma line. So a lot of people don't realize where Hugo, Oklahoma is, but it's about 12 miles from Paris, Texas.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up. I grew up in Choctaw County, so I'm half Native American and half Mexican. If we wanted anything, like even a haircut, like I had to drive to Dallas for anything, prom dress, Walmart. Now they have a Walmart, but back when I was a kid, like we had to drive to Dallas for literally anything.
Yeah, that's kind of us here. Although, you can make Temple or, Waco work, but yeah, we're pretty 45 or an hour out from any major city, and not really major, I would say, semi-major. So I feel your pain.
So, but now I live in Florida, and I just bought property to kind of go back and visit. And I think you get that calling to you as you get older and a little bit more comfortable too in your life.
Yes, absolutely. And when I had kids and the kids started getting older, I wanted them to have some because I was a single mom until I came back here. So that was tough, but I wanted them to have other people in their life, so once we made the move, it was like the best thing ever. But you're right. As a teenager, you could not tell me a thing. I was doing what I wanted to do.
So, that's a great topic to kind of segue into, when we're kids, when we're younger, in your CEO journey, of running the company, because you guys have 2 locations and a software.
Yes.
What would you say is probably the one thing, or not even, because there's so many, like what would you tell that younger version of yourself when it comes to finding that place? What should you have listened to? Like, what would you tell the younger version of Summer when it comes to like trying to figure out what it is to do, or even to invest more time in?
That's a great question. And Libby, I'm a firm believer in the journey is part of it. So even though there was hard things I put myself through, dumb decisions I made, wasted 15 years just, not getting anywhere. And I could be maybe like Miss Sarah on a beach in Hawaii right now as the income rolls in. But that's not the thing I made. But I think that the good Lord wanted me to go through those trials and tribulations and make it back out. And when I say back out, I mean, come back full circle to realize what was important, what wasn't. So as much as there were some very painful things or dumb decisions I made, I don't think I would change a thing, because I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have went through the things I went through. I wouldn't be the person I am. And then I wouldn't be the CEO I am for my companies. And, I wouldn't understand the work ethic that it takes.
I completely agree with that. I think part of the journey is what teaches us to be stronger, to really lead those. So, during that journey, or during any of the journeys, especially in business, what business journey were you faced with that was really that moment of fearness? And how did you overcome it? Like, what would you say is one of the most fearful journeys that you went through, or experiences as an entrepreneur or CEO? And how did you kind of work yourself through that? Like, what was that? Oh,
Yes. Two pop out in my mind. Very, very big. I'll just go over it real quick because, we don't really want to go into that, but it's, when COVID come, we did have to shut down for a week. And I just felt like all the years of the work was gone. But, as soon as we were all laid off, we all shut down, and the main four came back and just worked behind the scenes, getting things rolling. And we were back rolling within a week. So that was very traumatic. And I know a lot of business owners out there, that was such a PTSD, up and down, policy changing, shifting, stressful. I mean, it just hasn't been the same since then. But I will say that this building a software and then going live with it, as you know, with Recruit, it's a whole nother ball game. And then you're on all of this, you've done it, you've worked with your developers and you've gotten this product right. And you're like, it goes to launch that day it launched. And I was just so afraid, but I was like, whatever comes our way, we can figure it out. We can do a workaround. We still have the old system, and just fought those fears the whole way. I'm going to fail, kind of even my past fears. You're not good enough to do this, all of those things. And then once it rolled out and I'm sitting in the office and everybody's like just quiet and smooth and going, I'm like, I just start crying, it's just like this release of energy and stress, and just, yeah, I would say that would be my most recent, fearful. And I kind of fight that. I think we all, don't we have those fears that are just built in us, taught as kids, or we learned as kids, and they sneak back up on us, and we just have to say, get behind us. We're going forward.
Well, that's kind of this podcast it's fearlessness, but we all have that fear inside of us. Like you said, it came to us when we were kids, or, unfortunately, some of us go through some really bad or hard times in our young adult lives. Like I came from, and I don't talk about it a lot, but an mentally abusive relationship of 14 years. And those, really jack up your mind, because you still, or it's still in the back of your mind. Like, oh, like you had just said, oh my gosh, do I know what I'm doing? Am I good enough? And trying to get through those. For us, definitely COVID, but the last one for me was, when my cleaning company, we got leveled by Hurricane Ian. I mean, just leveled, and we are still trying to fight our way out of that. And it's just not the same. We're just not back to the size, recurring customers. And you're like, oh my God, is it ever going to end?
Yeah, that's a challenge. Oh my goodness. I could not imagine.
Someone just brought up hurricane season. Last night I went to dinner with a friend, and I was like, I told my husband, I said, oh my God, I can't even think about it. Like hurricane season again. I'm like, please don't make me think about it. And definitely the software. I'll be honest, I have no clue I have a clue now what I'm doing, because I've spent a lot of money in learning SaaS companies. But when I first started, I had no clue. And then when I bought out my partner just last year, the imposter syndrome really kicked in to Libby, you don't know what you're doing. You can't do this by yourself.
Who are you to do this?
You can't do this by yourself.
Yeah.
You're just some Mexican. You're just some Indian girl. You have no idea what you're doing. And these thoughts to this day, you get better, and you put exercises in place, and you read books, and you take alone time, and you exercise and meditate and all that jazz. But those thoughts never stop creeping into your brain. Ever.
No. And the only way you can fight them, and the less they'll talk to you, is the more you push through and face that fear and just keep going. Because then you look back and you'll kind of laugh about it. You're like, why was I worried about that? Look at this. Look what I've done, or look at what we've done. I'm kind of having those feelings, Libby, about the Austin event. It keeps popping back up. You know, there's a lot of people there, a lot of good business people. I mean, great business people, very smart-minded, college educated. I'm a high school dropout, you know, and I'm supposed to get up and tell them how to, you know, or, you know, give advice on how to sell. I'm like, who am I to get up there? I'm just like,
Yeah. So me and Summer, along with a few other people, are going to be at a Houston event, and it's actually just next week. So it's for the residential cleaning industry, and so gracious, I sit on the ISSA Residential Council, and then it's a great organization if you own either commercial cleaning, because they have ISSA like international for commercial, and then we have ISSA residential as well if you own a residential cleaning company. But as far as you know, our entrepreneur journey, what do you say are some of the key traits? Because you kind of got into it. Like, what are some of the key traits that just help you get through that fear to come out on the other side? Besides just keep doing it, like, what are some other traits that you feel are important?
well, you have to have faith. Faith, you know, I believe in, you know, God, whatever faith that you believe in, you're going to need that. Support system, key. You know, you need your cheerleading team just as much as anybody else. And, you know, I would say be kind to yourself, because I'm typically the hardest on myself. And it makes it worse, you know, right? Because it's just adding on top of that fear, and then it adds anger and regret and all kinds of those. You know, feelings give animation to matter, meaning that if you're anxious, then your heart's beating fast and you can't think straight. If you're angry, your face is all messed up and, you know, you want to hit something. But if you're fear, and you're, you know, fear causes that same anxiety. But, you know, if you're happy and loving, then you're going to be smiling. You're going to be, you know, talking positive. So that feeling, whatever feeling you have, is getting animation to matter. So if you feel that way, then you're going to be that way. So a lot of those redirecting techniques, refocusing.
I was like, isn't that like sales? If I smile when I'm saying it, I sound happier. Like one of those
fake animation. Fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. But I would say that would be one of the toolboxes. And let's see. I think that you know, it's okay that if you need to talk to someone, you know, if you're really, you know, got a lot going on like we've had lately, and I know you have too. You got the same kind of thing going on, and you know, we all have our own circus, right? Your own monkey, your own circus. But basically, essentially, the stress is the same. And if we didn't care about it, then we wouldn't be successful. So part of that fear is the driving force for us to be successful. And to like face your fears. I'm afraid of birds, but you know, I have 18 chickens. So I kind of do that kind of thing. I'm afraid of heights. I went and, you know, not bungee corded, but did some crazy stuff, opposite line and some suspension bridges. So, and I didn't die. So now I'm not afraid of it anymore. So I guess you kind of, anyways, I'm rambling. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah. You know, I always tell my kids that it takes the same amount of energy to be happy or to be mad or to be sad. It's a choice in the moment. Like, it's a choice in that moment of am I happy right now, or am I mad, or am I sad? And it takes the same amount of effort. It's just which way are we directing that effort?
Yes. And also too, we have this thing, internal locus of control and external locus of control. So when we do an external locus of control, that means, well, he did this or they did this to me, right? But when we start owning that, you say, well, I could have done that better, or I shouldn't have waited till last minute to accept that video call invite, right? So when we start taking control of those things, then we're now in control of us, and we don't feel helpless, like blaming others. And I think but it's okay, because we'll go through that. You know, we'll get mad at people and we'll want to blame them, but you got to come around full circle, accept your responsibility, forgive, and move on, because you don't want to drag that bag of regret and hate behind you. Life's too hard without it. Cut it loose.
Oh, 100%. One book that I'm circling back to, it's a book I read a long time ago, but I don't think I was mentally ready for the book. And I'm rereading it again. And I mean, I've read like chapter 4 probably 6 times, different chapters.
Please
Like,
share. I love a good book. I'm in the middle of 3
oh,
right now.
well, it's Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's an old book. It was written in the 50s.
I think that's some of the better books. Like, I love me some. Go ahead.
No, but in the book, it's all about how successful people are built. Like, what do they do? And it's all mind. It's like the sixth sense, they call it. And it's all this mind and how you build things around you, support systems. But you reread this book, and when I read it when I was younger, probably in my 30s, and I'm rereading it now, and they say in the book over and over and over, if it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't understand it, it's okay. It's because you're not ready for it yet. Right. Come back to it. It keeps saying come back to it.
Right. If I'd have been presented this opportunity back when I was younger, I would have screwed it up.
Yeah. And I didn't get it. And now I'm reading it again. I've been reading it off and on because it's a very heavy book. So, but it's all around your mindset and having a group of peers, creating that mastermind with 2 or 3 people, understanding yourself. It's all these things that you hear really successful people talk about, but that's what he did. He studied the most successful people in the world and created a framework. So for my organized people out there, a framework of how to get this. How do you be this way?
Yes. I've been using a lot of journaling lately, like, more so planning. Like, I want to list the top 3 things I want to accomplish today, list a check, put, VIP things for the day, and a quote, whatever that
affirmation of the day.
Yes, I'm big on that. Well, I used to be, and I need to get back to it. You write 3 things, goals, affirmations, and you put them everywhere. I used to have sticky notes for the kids everywhere. Everywhere they turn, they would have their affirmation. And I need to get back to that.
Well, I got one, like I got mine right here, right?
Oh gosh, I got to get on.
It's kind of it's taped above my computer. But as far as daily journaling, I used to, and I was really good at it. And because I was using a book, but with my travel and you don't always have a book with you, I got into it and I started using an app that's really helped me get back into it because I always have my phone.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's called Day One. It's a journal. It's really cool. It helps track your streaks, and you can add goal tracking because I try to review my goals 3 times a day, plus journaling, so I can kind of have them in one spot.
Yeah.
That's been good. It's pretty funny because I'm not super consistent. I'm okay, but it tells you the days that I'm consistent on the same days. So for some reason, every week I miss like Wednesday, but I always do Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. Like, that's so weird.
Like, I'm going to do it. And then everything blows up and you're like, you look up and it's Friday. And then you're like, Sunday, I got to get my crap together.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's so weird.
No, but that's okay, right? Because this is your journal, and that works. 3 days better than none, right?
Yeah, I'm like, that's so weird. I'm oddly inconsistent, but consistent on the same days.
That's okay.
But the book is great, but it's like everything we talked to you about, giving yourself grace, having faith. They talk about faith in the book. Not so much religious faith, but faith in yourself or faith in something. You have to have faith in something. Mm-hmm. Whether it's yourself or God or a God, you have to have faith in something.
Yes.
But it's a really good revisit to that book. And it's really helped me lately kind of reestablish and realign because it's a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Having multiple companies and different teams.
Yes. Amen, girl.
I'm not sure with your software and your service industry, do you have a different set of, I would assume, different set of employees for the software versus the service?
Well, you're looking at the employee for the software. Now, as we know, we just took up a coaching program because we know cleaning. We know cleaning top to bottom, right? We've been doing it 15 years. We're at 7 million right now. So the system was built off of that journey. So it's like 15 years of experience built into automation, right? So I really focused, made that make sense, made it simple. But going from that to launching a SaaS company. So I was like, Holly, we got to get us a good coach. And she agreed. And we got into the SaaS Academy. And it was so strange.
Hi.
You had just been at the convention 2 days before when I had set the appointment. I had no clue, caught him on a video. And I'm telling you, Libby, the fears have like flown out the window. Now we feel like we have direction. Right, Holly? How would you like to?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been in SaaS Academy 2 years now. It's great.
Yeah, I've seen everything you're doing, and I'm like, how are we gonna do this and that? And so right now it's just me and Holly, and then we're doing the 8-week launch program, and we're trying to get to that medium where we can get our first team member hired, so that we want to do this right and professional, and not just flop around for a year trying to figure out our way. We're going for it. So
awesome. We started that same way. Like, it was just me and Paul, my original co-founder. He helped me build it out, and then we hired my husband as the first employee. And we now have 17 remote employees just for the software. Oh, it's a machine. It is now bigger than, I always say this, it's bigger than me and my husband now. Like, it's bigger than us. We have things like policies that run it and COOs that are not us. Like, it is bigger than us. When things come up and happen now, there are people that we have a full leadership team. It's been great.
So just so we can look down the road in 2 years, how does that look for you in 2 years with Woot Recruit? Are you kind of focus more on like being the face of the company and getting doing things like this with the podcast? And
yeah, absolutely. So we have a full CMO. She's head of marketing. We have you would call it like head of ops, but we call her customer success, where she manages the account managers and quality and customer issues. We have a head of finance and HR, and then we have a head of product and development. So in 2 years, I don't do hardly anything in the day-to-day anymore. I'm just sitting in mainly meetings, because we have a fractional COO, and he and I are kind of splitting that because we need to hire a full-time. Mm-hmm. At this point, we've kind of outgrown. His name's Jim. Love Jim. We've outgrown Jim a little bit. He was phenomenal. He come from Microsoft. So we hired very, very high level. Mm-hmm. So we decided to go fractional because we couldn't afford someone of that caliber and level if they weren't a fractional.
Right.
Yes. So he has really helped us. And then SaaS Academy on top of that, having all of those resources have helped. So in 2 years, we went from 0 to $1 million in 2 years.
I'm just so glad to hear that. When I seen that, I was like, oh my gosh, now we have somebody that's actually in it, that's been through it. And that just made my heart warm when we seen that.
Yeah, it's already helped so much, like bridging the gap between an actual, my husband's a home builder, and then I have this, and we're in the service industry, like something you could touch, like a product at the end. Like a whole new world in the world.
Holly's just really started recognizing it, like that it's a real thing, but because it's not really something tangible you hold.
No.
And I'm like, come on, Holly, come on. She's like, I can't, but now she's put it out there, so I'm very proud of her. And
yes, I'm more of a operational and person, and definitely numbers. Summer is the inventive, creative genius that can see things that I can't. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you're gonna have to wait. I'm still doing my cash flow sheet over here to make sure that everything's balanced. Okay.
Yeah, she's the money. I like to spend it, Libby. We're very proud of you and what you've done at Recruit. I know I have a lot of friends in the cleaning industry that use you, and they're just very happy. And I heard you, and I don't know if it was on a podcast or something I was listening to. You said, what is the name of the hiring place that everybody, Indeed, you said,
Indeed,
I'm going to put Indeed out of business. And I said,
I'm going to take them down.
She's taking them down. So you know what I said the other day, in a similar situation, you know what I'm saying, but
yeah,
I thought she had the confidence to say that. And that's a big statement. And,
because I still use them. We still use them in the recruiting. We integrate with Indeed.
Yeah.
So I can't let them. Okay, there you go. I froze for a second.
I gotta go.
Bye.
Sorry about my professional jokes. I was not prepared. I had no idea this was happening.
That's okay.
It's okay. Oh yes.
Okay. Sorry. We
Yeah,
glitched.
sorry, we froze for a second. Yeah, so I do. My goal is to change the way the service-based industry hires, right? That Indeed platform was made for more C-suite, more higher level, and it has turned in over the years into service-based industries, high turnover industries, recruiting off that platform, but it's not made for us.
It's not.
And so my goal is to take them down. That's why I need to grow Woot Recruit, because I need the money. I need the money to create the new platform that we're building to really be a competitor against them. But I can't get them mad at me yet. That's why I don't say it too often out loud. Like inside my podcast, I'm fine. Because right now we currently integrate with Indeed. That's why we currently integrate with the platform, because we're sourcing.
There's nothing wrong with that, because I'm sure that there's plenty of other entrepreneurs out there that have the same type, that are, I mean, there's different places you can hire from, right? Go get a job.
Oh, yeah.
And they're probably, that's the name of the game. You're a business. You're aiming for that number. You want to be the best in the industry and best for your specific. So built specifically the industry, it's a different thing. That it's not the same as real estate,
No.
all the different things. And it's with getting down into the residential cleaning part. That's what my goal is to be the best residential cleaning company software, and be scalable, that we don't have to go through and keep moving to softwares, so.
Yes. As far as like going from the service-based industries to SaaS, I don't know about you, but when I first moved over, I had to like study acronyms because I couldn't figure out what the heck they were talking about all the time. Like SDRs and BDRs and all the acronyms for the positions, AMs. I'm like, what? I have no idea what none of this means.
Yes.
Now I feel like I can hold my own. I can sit in the room and I know what they're talking about. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I watched, that's the reason I picked SaaS Academy, because I typed in, literally, it was a burnout day. I was like, I can't do it. There's too much going on. I'm trying to launch. I've got this event. I'm trying to run Maids Moore. We're doing yearly planning. I mean, it was overwhelming. To a mental day. I'm in my bed and I type into YouTube, I'm starting a SaaS company I know nothing about, and I'm stressed. And Dan Martell popped up, and I've watched a lot of these coaches and video, and they talk, and I don't know what they're saying. Dan, instant connection. He makes everything very clear. And I was like, oh my gosh, 3 videos in, I booked that appointment, told Holly we got to be there. And we were like this with the credit card. Take it. We need guidance, So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be. And then you're in the room full of all those coders and people that know all this jazz. You know what I mean? Like they just think this stuff up. They've never been in the industry, right? And they think of a program and then they program it. I don't know if I could do that, because mine's based off of knowledge of the, current. So is yours. Yours is based off the knowledge of hiring for your cleaning company and organize it. So I don't know. It's just so smart.
Though, I feel like we have an advantage though, because we're selling a proven process. We're not selling theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or your niche customer, where I'm like, I'm already niched down to as low as you can pretty much get it. Now you're able to, which you have to, right? Because you can't go too narrow on that. But your service industry, but once I'm getting down to this, my software operational would work for a few service industries, but I'm focused on cleaning companies right now.
Absolutely. So I have one last question before we wrap up.
Sure.
And, my question is, what do you think is the most proud moment, right? Reflecting on your journey, could you share an experience of that you're most proud of while running your business?
A lot of proud moments.
I know.
A lot of people. So, okay, narrow that down for me. Proud moments as in my company or in my coworkers, or proud moments as me in business or in personal, or like, let's do a funnel here. Let's filter it out a little bit for me, because I would say proud.
It could be in business, you as CEO, or even a proud moment with maybe your employees. What comes to top of mind?
I would say that my proudest moment was that I was able, we had hit a point. We were about 4 million, and our software wouldn't keep up. It was glitching. Looked in the industry, nothing would work for us. So like panic mode, 2 years head in the sand, patching up things to make it work. And when that software went live and all of my employees were not working until 7 and 8 at night to keep up with our volume, and they all relaxed in that, it was that moment. And it was at the end of that week. I just was so thankful because everybody was paper shuffling, clicking. It was, butts and elbows from 7:30 until you getting out of there. And my proudest moment was to give them that relief. Now I walk in, I'm like, hey guys, what can I help with? Because usually you come in, they're like, here, do this. Now they're like, oh no, we got it. We're going to have lunch. Let's have lunch. And it's just so uplifting. And I'm just, that would be my proudest moment.
That's awesome. So before we wrap up, what's next for summer? Any big things in the works? What's next? Is the software actually live for other people, or did it just launch for you guys?
Great question. So it's been live. Had to start somewhere. So it has kind of a rough interface. I mean, it works. It's automated, and it's grown us from 4.7 to 7 million in 2.5 years, and with having actually less management. And so I have been working on 2.0 from the week after we went live. I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, I had to step away this week because I look at it and there's everybody else is like, ooh, ah. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to do that. And I wanted to do this. And I was just, cutting it. You're like, I had to step away. Right.
Yeah.
So the launch, we're pushing 2.0, which is a big update, user interface. That's going live Tuesday and Wednesday after our event. So next week. We'll push it in Austin first to make sure everything is good and stable. And then we'll push it to Houston. When I get back, I'm going to Greece March 22nd through the 31st. My daughter, she goes to West Point, and that's their spring break. And they have family. Her boyfriend or fiance has a family that they have a house there. So I've never left, really. I think I went to Germany's the only time. That's anyways. So I'll have a 10-day reprieve. And I promise myself I'm working as hard as I can. 10 days, I'm cutting it off. I come back, I'll push the launch in Austin. Then end of the month, we go to Washington to push it to our first customer. And in the meantime, I'll be using SaaS Academy and a program to set up our logins. And so I'm planning to be live to the public. I can go live sooner if people are out there want it. I can push them a login and to test and stuff, but March 1st is when it'll be live. And then I've already started working on 3.0, which adds sales in. So that's
nice.
The main thing I'm missing. And
that's big.
It's pretty big and it's pretty powerful. And I'm going to customize it completely to what you'll see in Austin when I talk about my sales.
So, awesome. Great.
That's my layout. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on Fearlessness. We'll make sure to put Summer's contact information and anything about the software. If you guys are interested, you could check it out in the show notes. And I want to thank our listeners. And if you want to find more episodes like this one, you can visit libbyd.com or thefearlessness.com. And that's a wrap for today's journey into the heart of fearlessness. Remember, every step we move towards our own strengths and courage. Keep walking through those fires of hell, because on the other side lies a better version that's unstoppable. I'm Libby, remembering to embrace your fearlessness. Until next time, stay brave, stay bold, and keep pushing forward.